Jaguars versus Steelers. And the most interesting part about this was clearly Trevor Lawrence to me. Trevor Lawrence, who was very impressive, dude. Very impressive. But before we really get into his performance in this game, I want to give you a little backstory. I want to give you a little recap of kind of, like what Trevor Lawrence has really been through to get to this moment, right? Because I think it's important. I think it's very important for what I'm going to talk about, okay? So, to me, I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence hasn't dealt with adversity before, because of course we all have, right? Me and you, everybody else, we've all had our own adversity that we've had to get through. We've had our own struggles in life, and of course, we've all been through it, right? And all in different levels, of course, but we've all been through it, right? But I'm talking about just strictly in football career, just in Trevor Lawrence's football career. I'm just gonna take a little look at his career, and then you tell me what you think, right? So going back to high school, Cartersville, Georgia High School, right? So this is really where he makes his name for himself. This is really where people start actually noticing who this guy is, dude, because he went 52-2 in high school. He only lost 2 games. Literally, dude, it's he was crazy impressive just in high school alone. But then not only when he goes to college, so he goes to college, he goes to Clemson, right? Clemson, great team, and he's surrounded by tons of talent in Clemson. So he gets there and he's like, oh, it's even easier. It's literally even easier for him because now he has all this talent around him and he has this great coach and everything. And it's all set up for him, right? And he only loses 2 games. He goes 34-2 at Clemson. And here's the most impressive thing too. It's he's only lost 4 games in his whole career up to this point, high school and college. But the games that he's lost were only in playoff games. So he was 68-0 in regular season from all of high school, all of college. Never lost a regular season game. Only lost championships or playoff games. Dude, that's freaking crazy, dude. That is crazy numbers, dude. That's basically literally Kyler Murray, but with more years, because Kyler Murray only played 1 year in college. And he never lost in high school, so it's very similar, but Trevor has a bigger sample size, and he just never lost games. He's just completely dominant, and he was literally the number 1 quarterback prospect ever since high school. Ever since high school, all through college, and all the way to the NFL draft, he was the number 1 quarterback prospect for years. Everybody loved this guy. He was. Okay, literally he's 6'5". He's 6'5", and that's dude, I mean, if you can get a 6'5" quarterback in the NFL, you're really happy with that. Whether they can play or not, you're happy with a 6'5" quarterback because you want a big boy back there. You want a big boy. And he has a huge arm. He has a great huge arm. He's very accurate. He's super mobile. Cuz he's not very heavy. You can tell Trevor's pretty lean. Pretty lean the way through, so he's light on his feet, and that makes him very mobile too. He can easily grab first downs with his legs. He can escape sacks. He can do everything athletically that you want from a quarterback, at least nowadays in 2022. He makes great decisions. He's a great leader. He has everything. Dude, he's the perfect quarterback. If you're an NFL team and you want to draft a quarterback, he's literally the perfect quarterback to draft. Oh, this guy can't be a bust. This guy can't be a bust. He's never lost a regular season game ever. He's always in the playoffs. He's in the playoffs every year of his career. He's 6'5". He has a big arm. He makes great decisions. He's super smart. He has everything. He's very athletic. He has everything, right? And so it's so that's what I'm talking about with the adversity. A lot of these other players, they have a little more. They'll have a little more adversity of well, yeah, this guy's really good, but he's short, or yeah, this guy's really good, but he's not that fast, or yeah, I like this guy, but he makes bad decisions, or there's always something. Or even when Josh Allen was in college, and people were yeah, Josh Allen, he's really cool, he has all this stuff, but he's inconsistent. He's not very accurate. He has to work on his mechanics or whatever. Like, there's always something. There's always something. Trevor Lawrence, it just seemed like he had everything. It was just like, you couldn't knock the guy. You couldn't knock him. He had everything, and he was winning constantly. And it's like, dude, how do you not take this guy, right? But when you're that good of a quarterback and you're going to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft because you're the clear number one player, then that means you're going to get drafted to the worst team in football. Like, you're going to get drafted to a terrible organization of dysfunction and losing. You're going to lose a lot of games. You're going to have no talent around you. Like, it's going to be rough when you're that top guy and you get drafted because you're going to a bad team. And that's exactly what happened. But even worse than we thought it would be, because he gets drafted to the worst team, a terrible roster, like absolutely terrible roster. There's barely anything there. And on top of that, you get Urban Meyer as your head coach in the NFL. Urban Meyer, he's always been a college coach, and then he tries to get to the NFL. He's like, I'm gonna go coach in the NFL now, and I'm gonna coach Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. It's like, okay. I mean, like, and I was curious about the Urban Meyer experiment. I was curious. I thought, like, okay, like, I want to see how this works, because a lot of college coaches try to come to the NFL and coach, and it usually doesn't work out very well. Like, we've seen it a lot in the past. Pete Carroll is like the one that it actually did work out. Like, he came to the NFL and he was a kick-ass coach and he's winning Super Bowls. So like, that's like, it's a rare case though. Like, even Nick Saban himself, even the GOAT of college coaching, Nick Saban himself, tried to come to the NFL and failed. Like, it's not an easy transition. So like, Urban Meyer comes to the NFL and it was just a complete disaster. Like not only just like the like after one of the games, Urban Meyer is like in the club getting some like young girl twerked on him, right? Like, twerking on him. And, it's like okay, bro, like that's already bad enough. Like, that was already embarrassing because we all found out about it. Like, his whole team was literally like roasting him and making fun of him, and they didn't take him serious at all. Like, they were like, oh, this guy's a freaking joke. Like, we can't take him serious, dude. He's out he's an old dude and he's out at the club getting twerked on by young girls, and it's like, bro, what are you doing? And like, what, like, I don't know. So like, that's already bad enough from Urban Meyer in the NFL, right? But not only that, but like the whole story about like him kicking the kicker in practice and the way he's like blowing up, exploding on people. He's treating these NFL players like they're college kids, like, because the college kids, you can boss them around, you can be all yelling in their face, and you can be that tough guy, that tough coach or whatever you want. You can get away with it in college. In the NFL, dude, NFL, that shit does not fly. Like, unless you're literally Bill Belichick, but even Bill Belichick has a little bit more respect than Urban Meyer, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Urban Meyer didn't gain the respect, and he was a complete asshole to his entire team. And like, complete dysfunction. Like, the team, like the Jacksonville Jaguars were terrible. Like, they couldn't win any games. It was a complete dumpster fire. Urban Meyer gets fired in the first year. It's a disaster. And that also led to Trevor Lawrence having the worst year of his career, naturally, right? He had a terrible year. He had like 3,600 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. It was a really bad year, dude. And also, of course, they lost like tons of games. They lost like 13 games or whatever. And it's like, bro, it was like, so that's what I'm trying to make the point. Trevor Lawrence went from like never losing games, playing amazing. He's a top prospect. Like, can't miss on the guy. And he goes to the most dysfunctional, bad organization in the NFL. And like, he gets a terrible coach, and there's no leadership, and like, there's not a lot of talent around him for him to work with, and he's still trying to learn as a rookie. And like, it's a lot. It was a lot for Trevor Lawrence to take in. And so like, he had a bad season. And I think people just expected more from Trevor Lawrence because he was such a highly sought after prospect at quarterback. And like we've seen how him in Clemson, how amazing he was. So it's like I guess people just expected more from him, but like how can you expect more from him when he's in such a bad situation? Like there like that 3600 yards and 12 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. It's bad, but that's probably the best you're going to get out of that situation, dude. That's probably the best you're going to get out of that, right? So like I can't even fault Trevor Lawrence that much. But this pretty much you take that year, last year, complete dysfunction, and now a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed for Jacksonville, right? Because, they got a new coach, obviously. They got Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. And, like he left Philly and he was kind of floating around looking for a place, and hey, the Jaguars picked him up, and there we go. Come be our coach. So Doug Peterson, and he comes here, and like he has a pretty good track record. He's a decent coach, and he has a Super Bowl. Like you can say how fluky it was or magic carpet ride it was, but he still won though. He still coached that team and he won, so he got there. And you can't knock him for that, right? And also the Jaguars, they added tons of new talent in free agency. They added a lot of new pieces. Christian Kirk from my team, Arizona Cardinals. Yo, what up, baby? Christian Kirk, I love Christian Kirk. He's amazing, dude. He is so amazing and so underrated because people don't pay attention to him that much because he's been a Cardinal and people don't care about the Cardinals. So it's like he's kind of gets underlooked, but like, dude, Christian Kirk should be like the number one receiver there, and him and Trevor Lawrence are gonna be amazing together. Like I loved Christian Kirk so much. They signed Evan Ingram, the tight end. He's a pretty decent tight end. That's a big upgrade for them because like they didn't really have much there before. Now you get Evan Ingram. Okay, that's something. That's something good that you got right there. Zay Jones has been around the league for a while now. He's a really solid receiver. He's not like a game breaker. He's not gonna like open up your offense and be all crazy, but like he's a really solid receiver. You can trust the guy. He's gonna make plays. He has good hands. Like he runs good routes. He's a solid receiver to have. It's nice. It's nice to have more weapons like that. So that's also a plus. Brandon Sheriff, the guard. So that's a really big upgrade on the O line to get Brandon Sheriff. He's been in the, or Sharif or whatever, I don't know how to say it, but he's been in the league for a while now. But I mean, he's a proven veteran. He's a proven guard. It's very, very solid. Like he's gonna change that O line a lot, and I think that's gonna help him a lot. There was a lot of other moves, a lot of smaller moves, but all really good ones. All really good ones. Arden Key is another one from Tampa Bay that they got. Arden Key's decent. It's a nice upgrade for them. It's something. But, Jacksonville made a lot of moves in the offseason, and they're really trying to support their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. And we got to see a little bit of that in week 2. In this week 2 preseason game, we got to see that because they played their starters. They played the starting lineup. So they had all the receivers out there. They had Trevor Lawrence balling out, and that's exactly what he did. He balled out. Like, Trevor Lawrence really put on a show. And even last week, even week 1, I didn't talk about it on the podcast last week, but Trevor Lawrence played really good last week too. And he was balling out then, but week 2, I was super impressed with this game specifically. That's why I wanted to bring it up now, because like he killed it. Like I'm going to read you the stats for you. So he was 14 of 21 for passing. That's great. 14 and 21. There's not a lot of incompletions, and he wasn't throwing picks either. He wasn't throwing turnovers. That's also a good thing, that like those incompletions were not like really bad decisions, or he's not throwing it right into the defenders. It's like he was very efficient on the field. He had 133 yards, no interceptions. He didn't get the touchdown, didn't like get the real passing touchdown, but it's okay. Like I don't even need to see the touchdown. It doesn't even matter. Because from all the completions that he did get, they were like amazing, dude. Like they were so good. I was just really impressed with Trevor, man. Like clearly he's improved a lot, and he's been working on himself because his arm looks lively. Like it's he's really showing off the big arm, especially in this game. He made a couple throws where he was slinging it in there. It was like in tight windows, contested catches, and also what I loved, we got to see a lot that he was targeting Christian Kirk a lot in this game, and they clearly have a connection. Him and Trevor, you can see the connection that has developed with those two, and that's going to be a hard matchup to stop for any defense. Any defense in the NFL, that's going to be a hard matchup because Christian Kirk is crafty. He's pretty fast. Like what Christian Kirk did in Arizona, he was our big play guy. He was the big play guy. Like, oh, if you need a big chunk play, you're gonna get him on a vertical. He's gonna burn that guy, and then he's gonna get open and make a great catch. He's the big play guy usually, but he's also like the great slot wide receiver. He can do all the slot things, and he's the deep presence. He has it all. So like that's such a great weapon for Trevor, and they clearly have chemistry. They clearly have a connection because there were, it was a lot of feeding it to Christian Kirk this game. So I love to see that. I love to see that, dude. Like it was amazing. And he was spreading the ball out too, but so I'm going to show you a video down below because there's one play that you need to see. I'm sure some people have already seen it because it's getting around a lot, this clip of the play, but it's crazy, dude. It's so good. Like Trevor Lawrence drops back and throws an absolute rocket, complete rocket to the sideline on the left side. And he throws it with just a high enough arc to get right over that corner that was waiting right there because he was watching Trevor and he's in position to make a pick on it. So he jumps up, he's extending his arms all the way out trying to make this pick, and Trevor just got the perfect arc to go right above him, dude. It was so close. It's so close, but it's a beautiful throw. And he puts it on a rope, dude, and it just gets right to his receiver on the sideline, makes a great catch. I was like, oh man, it was beautiful. And I'm sure I'm putting it right here so you can see because it's amazing. You have to see it. So, and also you're going to see in this clip what the best part is too, is that right after that, so that corner really thought he was going to get that pick, right? And I'm sure he's disappointed that he didn't get it because it was so close. And Trevor, the big dog that he is, right? He does this, shaking his finger like, no, sir, you ain't getting that pick, baby. You ain't getting that. Oh, dude, I love that. I love the little I love the confidence, dude. You can see the confidence in Trevor Lawrence now. Like it's such a big difference from last year. Last year, the confidence wasn't there because there was so much dysfunction. Everything was going wrong. He was throwing interceptions. He wasn't like sure of himself. Like you can see the confidence was lacking before. And he was really just trying to figure things out in a bad situation. Now he's feeling so much more comfortable. He has receiver talent around him. He has more help. And he's way more confident in his passing. He's clearly done a lot of work in the offseason because he's gotten so much more confident. And just that little moment of no. Even that, I just love it, dude. That's what I want to see from Trevor Lawrence. That's what I want to see. I love that. So that's why I want to show you that clip too. It's amazing. Like I'm loving Trevor Lawrence right now. I'm on a big high for Trevor Lawrence right now.